What's going on, everybody? So, we had some interesting Jaguars news break today, and that is that Shad Khan has officially announced that he has paused the search for an executive vice president of football operations. In a statement, he said, I am pausing on the consideration of introducing an EVP of football. In just over 3 weeks, Doug Peterson has instilled a structure and disciplined approach that is clearly making a difference in our culture and mindset. I feel we're best served at this time by allowing Doug, Trent, and their assistants to take ownership of our path forward. We will continue to explore the addition of personnel to other areas of our football operations to provide everyone the best chance to win. So, this one really, I guess it addresses a question a lot of us Jaguar fans have been asking, and that is like, what is going on with this EVP search? And once this was made public, honestly, Jaguar fans just kind of went crazy again. Man, Jaguars fans, we get pretty easily triggered by different stuff just because we get baffled at this point by different things that our owner does. And it hasn't been the best month for Shad Khan. Had to fire Urban Meyer, who this guy stuck up for and swore by after introducing him just, about 10 or 11 months prior. Fired Urban in December. Then the clown show came about where Jaguar fans stormed the TIAA Bank Field in wearing clown stuff. And then the disastrous head coach search where, they apparently offered Byron Leftwich a deal to be head coach, and then that didn't go through. And then some of their top guys like Nate Hackett and Eberflus went to other teams, and they were kind of running in circles before accidentally hiring what I feel is the right guy with Doug Peterson. So the head coach search wasn't great. He looked like an idiot in his introductory press conference, and in that press conference, he announced that he will be hiring an EVP, and now it doesn't look like that came into fruition. So the big question is, should this freak people out? I'm one that, I get annoyed by a lot of things, and there are things that I'm like, what the hell is going on? But this one, I was like, okay, like, I wasn't with most of the Jaguars Twitter and stuff when it comes to freaking out. Now, I made a video about this on Saturday, and it looks like I buried the lead on that. I said on Saturday, look, if you have not hired an EVP by now, then it makes no sense to hire one yet. I basically said that, look, if they don't hire one now, it's probably not coming until after the draft, if they even do it. And the reason being is because, look, right now it's March 1st. The deadline to place a franchise tag on a player is March 6th. You've already signed a player on your own team, Tyler Shatley, to a 2-year deal. You have free agency in less than 2 weeks. Then you have the draft coming about. We are too late in the process to bring in an EVP that should have his hands heavily involved with the whole draft and player acquisition process. Once the draft is over, then things slow down for the GM role, and then from there you can figure out what you want the structure to look like. But in my opinion, I don't know if Shad Khan will actually hire an EVP. I'm more so leaning toward that he may not. And maybe with the coach and GM that they have in place, because this is not Doug Peterson's first rodeo. Obviously, he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is not Trent Baalke's first rodeo either. Obviously, he was with the San Francisco 49ers. You wonder if they did go the Byron Leftwich and Adrian Wilson route, two first-year guys, younger guys, maybe they would feel a need to bring in an EVP pretty much immediately once you hired both of those guys. But now with the situation with the Jaguars, and apparently Shad Khan has been there pretty much every day around the building and, with Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. And I guess he likes the process and he likes the kind of synergy going on. Now, I feel like at this point, it's probably easy to get along with people in February because I don't think things start to get dicey until August comes and you start playing preseason games and the season comes about and the resumes start to build, because obviously it doesn't really matter what happens in the months of, late January to when the regular season starts. What really matters in the NFL is only one thing: wins and losses. That is what you're evaluated by. And once those wins and losses come, and maybe you start gathering up some losses, that's when you really figure out where the weak links are. And right now, I guess everything's all nice and happy around the Jaguars building, but yeah, that's kind of what they said is going on. So I don't know. Now, the thing that is concerning to me isn't necessarily not hiring an EVP. Man, I really don't like saying that. EVP is, will the Jaguars bring in, instead of an EVP to be over Trent Baalke, what if they hired an assistant GM to be under Trent Baalke? I mean, that's bad in two ways, because one, obviously it rises Trent Baalke up the ladder when it comes to the Jags hierarchy. You know what I mean? He is literally the next person in the line, in the hierarchy from him to Shad Khan. There's nobody in between them. And another thing that an assistant GM does is, if Trent Baalke were to somehow get fired, it would be very easy for Shad Khan just to say, oh, we'll make this assistant GM the GM. He's done that with head coaches, with Doug Marrone, and he's done that obviously with Trent Baalke, who was on the staff with Dave Caldwell after they fired him. He loves that. He loves taking off that interim role. So that could be something. Now, we kind of wonder what went wrong with this EVP thing, because we heard the name Rick Spielman really heavily linked to this role. I mean, it seemed like it was a thing where it was like, okay, it almost seemed like it was official. It was like Rick Spielman, EVP, and that was like the only name that we were hearing. Now, I did some digging around, and there's nothing official, but I think that Rick Spielman was probably offered this role, and I think he turned it down, because he said in multiple media appearances that, he's been offered different roles, but he's waiting for the right one to open up. And maybe he did not feel comfortable with the Jaguar situation. I don't know. That's kind of when I did some digging, that's kind of what I found. So that would be a little bit concerning. Obviously, you don't want a guy that turns down a position and then they just don't wind up hiring anybody. But I don't know. At this point, it's like you don't really like giving Shad the benefit of the doubt. I would like to say, okay, I believe that he's still going to do it. We just had to wait. I think the longer Shad Khan waits, the more complacent he's going to get. Because, look, if you put Shad Khan around football people, a guy that doesn't know football is going to be very impressionable, and he's going to really mold and learn a lot about football through those guys. I mean, he'd be a kind of guy that if he watched his YouTube channel, he might have a change of mind and do stuff different, because it's like, okay, this guy's talking football and it sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Maybe I'll change up my opinion. I don't know. It just, obviously he's not a football guy, so whatever. So let me know your thoughts about this whole EVP thing. It's not a great look, especially since they said they were opening a spot and nothing came out of it. It's just really, really weird. But obviously I'm going to still remain and have a positive, mindset as we look back on it. It seems like Trent Baalke actually did pretty good last year. I mean, free agency, he didn't sign any big name players, but at the same time, we're not in a situation where we signed a guy to a lot of money and they have this high dead cap number. We need to get rid of him. So nothing he did is really crippling us from this free agency. And also his draft class might have been pretty good, especially his day 2 picks with Walker Little, Tyson Campbell, and Andre Sisco. Looks like those guys have some upside. So I'm going to continue to be positive about this, because, I'm not just going to sit here and complain that we have Trent Baalke. We have to live with it. We have to move on with it. And we just had to hope for the best, because that's all we have as Jaguar fans. You know what I mean? So thank you guys for watching. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Lamar Flores and his 2 kids, Angel and AJ. They are huge Jag fans that love the channel, and they just recently became members of the channel. So big shout out to you guys. I'm really happy that you enjoyed this channel and also enjoyed the Jaguars as much as me. So with all that said, go Jags, Duval till we die, and I'm out.